Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good vibes, good energy, good people. It's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right now. Also, if you want to support my brand, it's inspiredbydreams.shop. That's the place to go to dress outside of the box. Okay, today's episode, all I have to say to you guys before we get into this conversation, without the bickering back and forth, the only thing I can say is, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Let's get it.
Mickey made it. Mickey made it. What you made, Mickey?
I don't think enough people understand that the reason the Democrats imported so many migrants is not only for the vote, it's because corporations are forcing the issue. Corporations are the ones that want lower labor. Corporations are the ones who are lobbying to allow the immigrants in. They openly complain all the time that when Trump was in, labor cost was high. And we all did a lot better, right? As Americans, we all made more money. And then as soon as the things flipped, you saw that the job market is what it is. 12,000 jobs were added in October. 12,000. Now manufacturing is down 49,000 jobs. If you want more of the same, stay with the same administration, because essentially it's the same administration. It's important to understand corporations are just as evil, and they're the ones who are lobbying for cheaper labor. And that's why the Democrats keep giving it to them. And cheaper labor turns into more Democratic votes eventually. But they're the ones pushing the cheaper labor. 12,000 jobs in October is going to probably be worse when they give us the November numbers. If you want to see that happening all through 2025, keep the same administration. If you want change, there's the other option.
Black women. Back in the day, black women were sex slaves. Guess what y'all are now? Guess what the are now? Sex slaves. Y'all sex slaves. Y'all don't know nothing else but ass and titties in your vagina. Y'all don't have nothing else to show and offer nobody. The brain don't even work no more. They program y'all to make y'all feel like y'all ass and y'all titties and y'all vagina is all you need. Y'all ass be ready to be sex slaves. Project 2025, that's gonna make you out a sex slave. Project 2025, I know y'all seen the laws that's in Project 2025. It's gonna be more sucking and out here than it ever been. And it's not gonna be high anymore. It's gonna be cheap. But y'all already gonna be used to it, because y'all used to it now. Because that's all y'all show is y'all ass titties and y'all vagina. That's all y'all think y'all worth. But they programming you like that. And that's all you gonna be in the future when Project 2025 hit. It's gonna be a whole house out this bitch. It ain't even gonna be inside the house no more. It's gonna be wherever you can get it at. Hey, then they brung the tennis skirts back. You know how easy it is to have sex with a man with a tennis skirt on? That's why they brung them back. Them tennis skirts gonna fit with Project 2025. Because y'all was sex slaves back then. Now y'all Jezebel's sex slaves now. You fell for it. Megan Thee Stallion, Lil' Kim, they prepped y'all ass. That's why black women I'm not even gonna just say black women. Y'all have sex with any mother. That's why all these kids running around here with their heads chopped off. They don't even know who their father is. They barely know who their mother is. Because y'all ass only had them for benefits. Damn. Project 2025. All that acting that y'all doing. Y'all gonna be shaking more ass and more ass and more ass and more ass. Whew. Y'all lips gonna be tarred.
What?
The top ones and the bottoms. Real talk. They gonna be tarred. They already tarred because y'all have sex with any and every body that you can. The spirit of the Jezebel is real. It's real.
I'm going to read this to you, and then you tell me if we're coming to the same conclusion. I'm reading Project 2025 right now, and I'm about to make a video for it, but I want to make sure that make sure I'm hearing this right, make sure I'm understanding this right before I go ahead and share this with the rest of y'all in this next video, because it's not making sense to me. Okay, so just for context, I'm reading about what the Department of Transportation will look like in our new America. One reason for the high number of injuries on American roadways is that the national fuel economy standards raise the prices of cars, disincentivizing people from purchasing newer, safer vehicles. The standards must be achievable using available ICE technologies running on gasoline, diesel, fuel, or similar combustible fuels, and must not be set high to prevent automakers from profitably producing new vehicles at sufficient volume to meet consumer demand. So for the girlies who do not know, the National Fuel Economy Standard is basically the requirement that says all new cars need to be producing or providing the consumer with the ability to go X amount of miles per gallon. So I think right now, they should be going at least 30 miles per gallon. If you're purchasing a new car, it should at least give you 30 miles per gallon. Someone check me on that. If I'm wrong, put it in the comments. Again, this is collaboration. This is not me. This is us. So if I'm reading this correctly, it's saying that the reason that there's so many accidents or so many injuries on the road is because since the standard has been increased for new cars, I think cars coming out in like 2026 onward need to be achieving 40 miles per gallon. Again, the numbers might be wrong, but if they're wrong, correct me. But again, it's increasing. So that's the requirement. If you're purchasing a new car, it should be giving you this many miles per gallon. That's the requirement, which is easier said than done for electric vehicles than it is for gas vehicles. So it's essentially saying that because the standards have been risen, that it's preventing, that is what's preventing people or disincentivizing people from purchasing newer, safer vehicles. Not the fact that existing in America is expensive, but because the standard is too high. It's so high, in fact, that it prevents automakers from profitably producing new vehicles at sufficient volume to meet consumer demand. So like, why shouldn't they cut into their profits and make a better vehicle that provides higher miles per gallon, resulting in a cleaner economy and less burden on the consumer? I just want to make sure I am not gaslighting myself with this information before I put this in a video for y'all. Are we saying that we should lower the standard so that cars that run on gas and oil and other combustible fuels can compete? Because if we make something that has a higher standard for miles per gallon, it's going to be more expensive and not as profitable for automakers. Lower the standard so that gas and oil can compete. I just really need to make sure that I'm hearing this correctly from the pull your boots up, just be better party. I really want to make sure that I'm understanding.
Let's talk about our African American students and how Project 2025 America First wants to ensure that more African American students get IEPs. So back in December of 2016, IDEA, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, added a new portion called equity in IDEA. Now, why did they need to add that portion to this law? So what research was showing back in 2016 was that students who were black had a larger proportion of IEPs, individual education plans. So there were more black students in special ed, proportionately larger. So officials and educators got together and they said, there is no way that black students are just naturally more prone to be in a special ed program. People were looking at each other and they were saying, these kids don't have cognitive issues that are impairing their learning ability. They were looking at each other going, these kids can learn. There's just so many other factors at play. Because our black students are going to come from communities that are lower on the economic scale. Then, after all the data was collected, the government stepped in and said, oh, you're right. All of these black students don't necessarily need an IEP. They need early interventions. They need help before they walk into the kindergarten classroom, so that when their peers are right here, they're no longer way back here. They're closer here. So the equity and IDEA clause was put in, and what that did is that took 15% of the Part B budget, and it said this money should be used for early interventions for our black students. Cognitively, these students, they don't need an IEP. They need help before they even walk into a classroom. And that's what equity in IEDA is. Now let me help you connect the dots. So what Project 2025 America First wants to do is it wants to rescind, take away the equity in IDEA because it aligns supposedly with critical race theory. They want to take it away and they want to say, no, give those black students IEPs. They need IEPs. So the goal in Project 2025 is to rescind the equity and IDEA law. And as I've discussed before, a private school and a charter school do not have to take you. They have a lot more ability to pick and choose what students they allow in their schools. And I'm going to be talking about charter schools next.
Do you know how many dollars corporate lobbyists have spent in the last 50 years convincing poor Americans that we need to protect corporations from the government instead of the government from corporations? Whatever number you're thinking, probably add a zero to that. The irony that we have a candidate on the Republican ticket who wrote a moving book about the disappearance of the middle class and the poverty and the lack of opportunity and the addiction that people face in the South and the Rust Belt in this country, and then turns around and accepts millions and millions of dollars from hedge fund managers and corporations who want to deregulate corporate interests, who want to increase corporate profits. And then this guy who got famous writing this book gets to be heralded as a champion of the poor. But he's accepting money from people who do not give a rip about the poor, do not give a rip about the disappearance of the middle class. Deregulation means removing laws and protections that were put in place by the government, by legislators to protect the little guys. Without corporate regulation, we would not have a 40-hour work week, which Project 2025 wanted to get rid of. We would not have a minimum wage. You wouldn't have environmental protections, making sure the air is clean, the water is clean. You wouldn't have FDA regulations, making sure our food is safe. The government exists to protect the people. The government does not exist to mess up your life. And this is what's astounding to me, that lower income and middle class Americans have bought into this. For example, blaming the Democrats, blaming Biden for inflation, it's almost laughable. The reason we have inflation is because corporations have jacked up prices and taken record profits and paid their shareholders with them. Oh, it's the government's fault. It's Biden's fault for not protecting you from corporations. It's corporations. It's all corporations. This is not a big riddle. I'll tell you exactly how to figure this out, okay? You find the greediest bastards in this country. You find the greediest ones who want all the money and they want to hoard all the money and they don't care about other people. You find those people and you figure out who they're donating to and do not vote for that person because that person is being bet on by the corporations. They think that he's their guy. He's going to cut them more tax breaks. He's going to give them more rights to exploit. Tip of the day, don't exploit people and vote for people who actually give a rat's patooey about the working class.
What's a piece of information that you learned that feels illegal to know?
Easy. One word. ALEC.
What is ALEC, you ask?
ALEC is a corporate lobbying group whose members consist of corporations and American lawmakers.
What does that mean? It means it's a private club where corporations like Walmart and Coca-Cola can propose and vote on bills that American lawmakers then go and pass. One of the most iconic bills that ALEC has gotten passed include the Stand Your Ground law, which determined the outcome of the Trayvon Martin case and largely benefited Walmart because it greatly increased gun sales.
Essentially, ALEC is the puppet master pulling the strings of conservative lawmakers who prioritize corporate interests over the lives of the people that they were elected to represent.
If you really want to know why there are no laws saying that corporations have to pay their workers a livable wage, it's because the corporations wrote laws preventing that from happening. So our lawmakers are literally just puppets for corporations. Something to chew on as you watch Congress fight over the $600, $2,000 pennies that they may or may not give us. Capitalism is a disease.
You guys let me know, do you believe in this whole Project 25? Is it a thing? Can we see this big divide that will one day crack the economy and things would just be chaos? I think that the more they force people to work and do things that they don't want to do, the more you'll see a divide and more you'll see destruction, because people, it's all up to what you have in here to do what you want to do. If you feel up to doing what you want to do, or do you feel drained from what you're doing? And it feels like these laws and things that's coming and setting in place are just like forcing people to work. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. Or if you guys want to talk live on my live show, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 9 a.m. We can chop it up, alright? Love you guys. Until next time, it's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe.